You and I have got some catching up to do. So many questions. It's been a crazy year. I've missed getting to just sit down and hang out with you, and today we finally get to just chill out and be girls. And Peño and Fuemo and all the other men that are on this channel, Nzako, we appreciate you, men, for being allies in this girlhood. We see you, we love you, sir. We respect you. And so let's get into it. It's me. I come back. Okay. That was me dancing to the intro in my head. Didn't go as smoothly as I thought. Yeah, can you believe it? I'm on YouTube. I've made it. Oh! I don't wanna lie. As much as I want to be ashamed of the fact that I have been a deadbeat YouTuber for a good year, we can basically say I've been gone the whole year, because let's be honest, every time I've come back this year, I literally have come back for 3 weeks, disappeared, 3 weeks, and then disappeared again. It's just been ridiculous. But also, I feel like this timing is good because I'm home, you're home, we're home. Wait, I want juice. Can you please get juice? Please. Thank you. I promise this is not an ad, but I want to indulge your senses. To us! To us on YouTube. Please, eh? Yeah. This is the best of both worlds. It's playing in my head now. This is definitely the best of both worlds because now I can have my mango and I don't have to chew it. Like, I don't have to use my jaw muscles to down this mango, and that's my favorite thing about 100% fruit juice that still has the pulp in it. But I'm digressing because we're here to have a conversation. Lots of questions. I don't know why I thought only 5 people answered the question sticker on Instagram. Very crazy business. In case you don't follow me on Instagram and you're just one of those people who has YouTube on their TV at home, but you aren't really into the whole TikTok, Instagram cult of social media situation. I have been in a situation where my ceiling in my actual apartment has fallen apart. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, to the point where now I've been moved out and I'm in this apartment temporarily until the construction workers are back on site on the 7th of January. So literally 17 days in an apartment, half the size of the one that I am actually paying for. And obviously the management here says they're doing everything that they can to make sure that I'm well accommodated for and yada yada, but that's the long and short of what's going on right now. And I was so upset because I was like, I had so many big plans for December. I wanted to be part of Vlogmas. I had plans, and all of that just disrupted it because it means I had less time to edit, less time to focus on my content because everything is just falling apart constantly. You think something is fixed, Kante, it's not fixed. Jiggy jiggy, I go to church one morning, and when I come back from church, they're like, OMG, we have to move you. Otherwise, you're going to be in an apartment that's basically a construction site. But also, if I get exposed to mold, they'll have a bigger problem on their hands because obviously water being left in a damp, moist environment like that for a long time can lead to other things. I'm not a professional, I don't know if it has, but you can see from all the pictures and videos that who massive, bigger than me, larger than I, doll. I keep forgetting to go buy those round cotton pads at Clicks. Why? Now I want to wipe the excess stuff on my face, but my baby soft wipes are literally in my real apartment. It's fine. I will accept whatever comes with this look. Let me fill in my eyebrows, then talk to you. Where have you been? So I think if you follow me on social media, it's quite obvious where I've been, just a little bit. Oh, there was something I wanted to do and I didn't do it. Wait, it's never too late. You can still do it. You can still get it. Come on, Barb. Come on. I wanted to conceal. Yeah. Because I've got hyperpigmentation. Hashtag black girls rock. Are you convinced? Wait, now, where have I been? I don't want to lie, 2025 was a year bigger than what I thought it would ever be. Like, nothing in the world could have prepared me for the largeness that was this year. And I think obviously when I joined, why do you call this? Someone in this group chat already knows the answer to this question, but bro, one moment I was doing campus radio, next thing I'm being called by a commercial radio station. They talking about, girl, you know you better watch out. And so I feel so weird, can I just say? Usually I do Get Ready With Me's for TikTok. And like when I'm doing Get Ready With Me's for TikTok, I've got Google in the background playing music from my Spotify playlist. And doing my makeup in complete silence sucks. I don't want to lie, it sucks. You're probably listening to this video and there's some in the background just to keep you going. But like me, on the other hand, I'm suffering through silence. You know that. I joined radio in 2024, April. It was the first time ever that I did a radio show. And then in December, I was standing in on Christmas Day for Mo Flavor. Like, do you know who Mo Flavor is? Like, are you crazy? You see what I was telling you about the wipes and how they're necessary, but it's fine. Only I know the drama. Only I can see the drama. I've got so much foundation, by the way. Look, I've got this one for contouring. I've got this one, my normal shade 360. Then I've got 355 in my makeup kit, Yamareja. And I've got this one, also 355. But they all do different things. And this new one that I'm trying out, Fresh Tints, SPF 50. What's that? I want to see, oh, that was not what I wanted to do. But I want to see if it is a buildable foundation, because I've actually never used it before. Yesterday was the first time I used it. And I like it. I like it for like a 15-minute face beat situation. But I want to see if I use it on a real, true face beat, what's going to happen. Are you winning? And then I emceed my first paid event. I've been emceeing for many years. I've emceed at church, I've emceed at conferences, events, and it was always on a volunteer basis. And you know, I don't have a problem with being a volunteer. I love volunteering because it gives you the opportunity to gain skills that you otherwise would not have access to building because of lack of opportunity, money, all these different things, right? So I think the first one I did this year was Cadbury Date Night, which was really cool. And after I did Cadbury Date Night, I think a few more gigs came through. Jiggy, I'm hosting for Meta. Jiggy, I'm hosting. What else is another crazy one that I did? I was hosting at Voda World at some point of this year. Voda World, those things where you're on stage, but there's somebody talking to you while you're talking and you're reading an auto cue all at the same time. And it was so magical. It was the craziest thing I had ever done. I'm feeling like this. Nivea. I did a Nivea thing as well. Not once, not twice, thrice, my dog. 3 times. I hosted something for Nivea. And if you know me, you know how I feel about Nivea. You know how I feel about Maybelline. There's so many brands that you know, like even before they were paying me to show up and do stuff for them, I was doing it organically in my everyday life. Not necessarily making content out of it, but as a kid, I was using Nivea. And I told them the story when I got to host the Nivea marketing day. Literally, it was like at the Nivea headquarters in South Africa in KZN. And all the big people were there, and my job was to facilitate their conversation on how they're going to do things differently forward and how the future of marketing and advertising in South Africa looks crazy. It was such a privilege to get to meet some of the faces behind my favorite brand in the world. And I think what I'm so grateful for when it comes to the work I've done in 2025 is that a lot of the work was done with like brands I love. And I cannot believe my eyes. That's where I was. Like, I just could not believe my eyes. And I think part of it is that I'm not even like fangirling from a career point of view, like, oh my gosh, I'm hosting for Meta, or oh my gosh, I'm hosting for Nivea. But for me, it's personal. I don't know how to explain it. Every time I step on one of those stages, I'm like, someone call my mom and tell her that I host up at Nivea, like, get a program director Nivea, la hafa, la tenwa, yo, like massive. And of course, on top of all that fabulousness, everything that I am started from a place of being a content creator. So I still have TikTok videos to post. I still have campaigns that need to be posted on social media. Like, you understand? And I think what I've always appreciated with the people on YouTube and the people who follow me on my Instagram stories specifically, those ones, Stacy, everyone who takes the time out to just like constantly send me responses to things that I talk about when I feel like I'm talking to myself on my stories. I would literally be sitting on my Instagram stories stressing out like, yo guys, I don't have time for content, I don't have time for this, and they're like, relax. You're about to go host at Voter World. Like, focus on bagging that script. You understand? And I think, oh, I don't wanna lie, Maybelline! This is the second day I'm using this thing. It's called Lifter Sticks. I don't know if you can see it properly on the camera. This is shade 75. Yonea bronzer shem. I love it. I wanna go in again because I want the kind of cheeks that can slice my enemies. Anyway, girl. And one, as much as I appreciate people saying to me, hey, go kill your script, you'll see us later. I think the Voter World gigs, the meta gigs, like all the MCing gigs and the opportunities to go host a radio show are the point. Do you understand? As much as, yes, there was a pull from God and I felt led to start my YouTube channel, I also feel like a big part of why I started YouTube was because I literally was just a girl who felt like some of the stuff that happens in my life is crazy. This is not normal. Like a normal person shouldn't be going through half the things that I'm going through. And yet here I am going through them. Imagine if I had a reality show. Imagine if people could see it. And I remember people on my YouTube, my Instagram stories used to say like, bro, if you can get a YouTube channel, you will be so up. Because then we get to experience like an extended version of what we see on your Instagram stories. So obviously, but like, it's the opportunities like those that I got this year. I got to be on MTV Base. I got to be, I'm on YFM right now. There's so much happening in terms of the real entertainment industry that isn't necessarily on my channel or on a platform that I own, that's out there, that's bigger than me, that includes big personalities that we all, but Michael Jackson are in this industry where I'm in right now. I'm in the same industry as Beyonce. Me and Beyonce are colleagues. We work together in entertainment. I might be doing it from here, but she's my colleague. So obviously starting my YouTube channel in 2020 was almost a stepping stone for me to get into the spaces that I'm at right now. And I feel like it would be completely disrespectful to the people who put their necks on the line to give me a chance and try out this new girl, try out this fresh face, this fresh voice, and put her on our station, put her on our TV show. And for me not to use all the resources and time I have available to me into making that the bangerest opportunity that I possibly can. And so you'll see people love to ask like, oh, can you tell me about balance? You're so busy. How do you balance this and this and that? It's not balance. It was never balanced. It's always sacrifice. In one season, you're sacrificing your friendships and relationships. In another season, you're sacrificing money. In another season, when you're starting out, you're sacrificing time because you might not have the money to buy the camera that you want for your YouTube channel or do all the things that you want to do. But what you do have is tons of time. So you do everything yourself on your phone. You figure it out. You learn how to use CapCut, all these different things. And now we are sitting on how many minutes? 22 minutes. God forbid this video is long. And we're only on question 1 of 15. You need to keep your answers short and cute, my babe. Short and cute. I want to do another layer. Sorry to everyone. I'm a blushaholic. I'm going to do another layer of blush because I can. And it's my blush. And it's not a Maybelline PR, this one. This one I bought it cash. Wait, see, I hate this temporary flat that they've given me because all the smaller, it's in a corridor and there's just doors like this, doors back and forth. So I can hear all the people walking in the passage and I know for a fact they can hear me screaming in this house talking to you. My flat was nice. It was in the corner. There were never people walking past there because the door is only one and it's mine. I couldn't hear the conversations, but I digress. So where have I been? Short answer is that I have been making sure that the opportunities that YouTube has opened for me are put to good use and I knock them out the park. I hope that answers your question. Penyo Ari, are we ever gonna get to our regular? Do you know what? Can I tell you something? That's my dream. My dream is for us to have a regular sketch. Monday, we have Get Ready With Me. Tuesday, we have podcast. Wednesday, we have vlog. Thursday, we have questions and answers. I want there to be consistency in this place, in this house. But I don't know if you remember, there's a YouTube video I posted a while back where I was talking about how OMG, like certain things will afford you different opportunities. And one thing I've realized is like the money that I was making in radio at the time was not money for me to use personally, but money for me to invest into content creation, paying an editor, doing all that kinds of stuff. And while all of that is true and dandy, that wasn't until I then started hosting events, right? And one thing you'll notice about hosting events and just the arts in general is that when you start out in a certain field, like I said, you're going to sacrifice different things. Akuna balance. Why sacrifice? Or you just choose or sacrifice any today. Everything except mzimba wako, please. But I say that as a joke, but it is actually very serious. And it's sad, and I understand. Like, now that I'm a freelancer, I can see why people go to those extents. But we are not focused on the question. The question is, are we ever going to get back to our regular programming here on YouTube? What's wrong with you? Focus. So what I wanted to say is, I very quickly realized that it's much better for me if I am allocated a budget of 10,000 Rand for an event, but I know my videographer is going to charge me 3,000 Rand. I need to pay 1,000 Rand to my manager, another 1,000 Rand for tithe. That's already 5K gone, right? In that 5K, I could either do my own makeup, which you can see I'm capable of doing, but you know who does my makeup better than me? My makeup artist. Shout out to Star Glamza. She does such a stellar job. Her makeup stays put the whole day, which is exactly what you need if you're going to be on a stage and there's bright lights all over your face. I don't even know how much she charges. I think she charges something like 750 for a face beat. I don't know. 750, 850, somewhere there. 1,000 Rand, let's say, okay, for the sake of this video. She charges like 1,000 Rand for a face beat. Already now we are another 1,000 Rand down. Then I need her to install my wig and style the wig. Do you know what that means? Another 1,000 Rand. How much are we sitting on, girls? 7,000 Rand. I haven't even bought my outfit. And how much was the budget? 10,000 Rand. The hypothetical budget is 10K. So you very quickly realize that, yes, you're going to lose time that you could have been using to edit YouTube videos, preparing for the event. And the money that you get from the event, you can't use to pay an editor to edit your stuff. So you're going to take that money and you are going to rather buy outfit 1, 2, and 3 so that you deliver beyond the client's expectation. I know somebody's typing in the comment section, every time she talks without putting the thing on her face. I scream, Barbara, put the thing, talk while you are doing your makeup. I'm trying to do it, you can see, I'm trying, man. I'm trying my best, man. And that was the sacrifice that I had to make in the beginning. And as your business grows, there are different other sacrifices that you start making. Now I've got an assistant. I don't know what business I have having an assistant, but we realized that I needed an assistant. And now that I do have an assistant, things run so much better for me when I'm at events because there's someone who's making sure that I always have my hot water, honey tea stuff ready. If I break a shoe, she can run down quickly, get the other shoe. If there's anything I need to know about whatever, the bathrooms are there or this is where your dressing room is, she's the person who can do that. When I need to quickly change outfits, she's the person that can help me quickly change outfits. Small things like seem ridiculous are things that make it so much easier for me to focus on delivering the job and doing it well. So she worries about all the small things throughout the day, like where's my food, where's this, where's that, and all I have to think about is the script. That's it. So shout out to my girl, she really does a great job. Love you down. And so as much as I want to say we are gonna get to regular schedule programming tomorrow, all I can say to that is I'm trying my best. Believe me, Penyo, it is my desire to be here with you Monday to Monday. Do you understand? I want to see you daily. You are my first love. YouTube. This is where I belong. But in order for this to be sustainable, I need to go out there and get the money. I'm hoping that this year will be better because I'm no longer where I was when I started. The race is completely different. But sometimes you find yourself in a position, and like none of my favorite brands do this. So before you start thinking about anyone who's on this table or in this house, think again, think McCain, because and I love this about them. And for me, it's just one of those things that confirm that we belong together. When they come to me and say, Barbara, we need you to fly to Cape Town to do 1, 2, 3. How much is that gonna cost? I say, look, this is my base cost. This is how much I need to make for you to pay me in order for this to be sustainable. What do you say? They say, is that all? I say, yes. They say, okay, girl, we will give you what you want. And they gave me what I want. And that makes it so easy for me to show up, do what they ask for in a timely manner, in a professional manner, dressed nicely, smelling nicely, laughing, happy. I don't have stress because I didn't have to spend the night sewing my own dress the night before the event because you didn't give me enough money. Do you know what I mean? So at least now we are moving slowly into a place where people are respecting creators a lot more. People are respecting MCs a lot more and paying us what we ask for, because it's not just us you're paying. There's an entire team of people behind us that make it easy for us to show up for you as a brand. And so now it feels like I'm talking to the brand manager and not you, my friend. Sorry. Let's move on to the next question. How has it been during your morning show on YFM so far? I don't want to lie, my babe. I don't want to lie. I'm having the time of my life. If you've ever seen the clips of me rapping at YFM, you know I'm having a really good time. But another thing is, YFM obviously is my second commercial station that I've worked at, and which is crazy considering I literally started radio last year. I mean, I've been in media for long. I've been doing the whole camera work, TV, interviews, all these different things since I was 17. I have not been a radio presenter for as long as I've been media trained, if I can put it like that. And so for me, like, YFM is an insane privilege. It might have a more niche audience than the previous station that I was at, but like, it just feels so much bigger in my head. And it's probably because it's a radio station I personally grew up watching. A crazy example I can give you, Smash Africa used to be a radio presenter on YFM, right? A few months ago, I had a radio interview with Smash Africa and he was telling me how dope he thinks my content is on social media. But I was like, dude, do you understand that I grew up listening to you? Like, this right now is crazy. We're breaking the fourth wall. You were my daily listen on school rides and you're here. And like, I can pick up the phone and call you. I can call you and say, dude, this is what's happening right now. I'm not sure what to do. What do you think I should do? And you'll tell me what to do. And it's so crazy that you meet so many strangers, quote unquote, because they're people that you grew up listening to on radio or like watching on TV. But people will always say, like, don't meet your heroes because your heroes will disappoint you. And yes, that can be true in a lot of instances. But I think in my experience, it's always been like, wow, dude, you're even cooler in real life than you are on the television or in person. So when I got the news that I would be joining YFM, part of me was like, do you understand how crazy? I'm forgetting the next steps of my makeup because I'm so excited. Part of me is just like, I think for me, it's more of like a validating step to say, oh, Bobs, you really are on the right track. Also, shout out to everybody who was saying, you've been doing great, City. Love you, need you, encourage you. But yeah, as much as like, I know I've got a lot to offer the station and I can see how me being a part of the station benefits them, I also think that there's a lot that I can benefit from the brand, which is such a sweet spot to be in, because you give, I give you, we give each other, siyanikazana. You understand? I couldn't let it just walk past. That was an opportunity. You saw it. We are almost there, but first, another person I grew up listening to that I have become decently cool with. I don't know where I put this. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my settings spray. Hey. Another person I used to listen to all the time at YFM is Mtor. And if you go and watch my journey with Mtor, please, on Mtor's YouTube channel. It's such a good episode. We had so much fun together. But that day, Mtor was literally like, it's so crazy that this is the very first time that we meet. We have been watching each other and like exchanging likes and comments on social media. That like, in my mind, we've already met and we're friends. Mind you, it's even worse for me because I've listened to him for years on the radio. I never heard her on YFM, but I know Tando was on YFM, Bonang was on YFM, and there's so many incredible people that have gone through the reigns of YFM that I respect so much, that for me, being a part of YFM, beyond like being a part of YFM, that's cool, obviously, shout out. But like being given the opportunity to be on their training slot for me means the manager sees some sort of potential. And Trevor Noah was on YFM. That midnight 3 a.m. slot that I have at YFM, I think it was something called like Noah's Ark or something like that. But he did that and then pivoted and went into comedy. But for me, I've just seen that everyone who gets selected to be a part of YFM's heritage always ends up being someone fabulous, you know? And so for me, it's just a signal that you think I'm going to be fabulous? You think I'm on the way? I know I'm on the way, but now that you are saying I'm on the way, I know I'm on the way. And sometimes that's what I tell myself when I'm in studio or I'm preparing for a show, that like, don't overthink it. Don't panic too much. You literally are the girl you think you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So just be her. Can I tell you, these baddies right here are a game changer. I've always used this Maybelline powder to put under my eyes when I do my makeup. But they sent me this 360 mocha in the same shade. It's the same shade basically as my foundation, right? To put all over my face. Oh, this is the game changer I didn't know I needed. It sounds so simple. I've always wondered how girls get that flawless match snatched powder. I just need to make sure I apply them properly, because otherwise it's just not gonna give what it's supposed to give. I don't wanna lie, it's been a great confidence boost, because every time I feel a little bit down, I'm like, you see the studio that you're in? This is where Trevor Noah started. And Trevor Noah is my hero, by the way, if you didn't know who my real true hero is. Whenever I feel like I am drifting from my personality, do you know how I prepared for that DSTV Delicious video that went viral? I binge watched Trevor Noah's old comedy shows just to remind me who I am. Because I feel like I'm very much like Trevor Noah, in the sense that, like, if you ever watch Trevor Noah's shows, you'll see Trevor will start out telling you one story. Then the story goes like this. It goes like this. It goes like this. Then reaches a conclusion, and he's Patricia's son, and everyone's like, wow, Trevor, I love you. But that's low-key who I am. I might take you on 50 million directions before I get to the point, but best believe it's gonna be fun, okay? It's gonna be a good time. And I feel like it's important to have small things like that kind of ground you when you're in this industry, because sometimes you find yourself in different places and, you know, roles that you have to play that kind of, I don't want to say make you forget who you are like that, because that sounds a little dramatic, but erase parts of you. And while it's okay for you to erase parts of you to make sure that the specific job at hand gets done, what's not okay is for you to completely lose yourself. And so, yeah, shout out to the people who make the art that reminds me who I am, because I couldn't be me without you being you. Would you say this is the perfect career path? Yes, this is my perfect job. Well, do you know what, to be honest, I think this is gonna sound controversial, but the perfect career path for me is being a Kardashian. If I can wake up and just be a Kardashian, that's my real job. Like, that's where I belong. You understand? But for the purpose of answering this question and being serious for this get ready with me, I will say this to you. If you're asking me in comparison to engineering, I definitely would say that this is my perfect career path. With that being said, I don't think that there is an easy path. I think this career path that I've chosen to pursue has been more difficult than actually pursuing an engineering degree, because with an engineering degree, hear me out, I'm gonna go to school, work hard, study, graduate, and then, you know, I can see the steps. You pass year 1, you pass year 2, you pass year 3, you pass year 4, you get your license, and you go out and practice as an engineer. Yes, sure, the job market might be volatile and you don't necessarily know if you'll get a job or not, but the process is very clear. Whereas with entertainment, process is not so clear, my babe, you know? Sometimes you want a job, but the person who got the job because the producer is Sbanbani, who's worked with the person before, and the producer is just comfortable working with someone that they know. And as much as like when you're listening to that conversation from outside the industry, it sounds crazy, like, oh, people are just getting jobs because this guy knows this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy. What you'll realize is like that's probably one of the most expensive things that you can find for yourself. A person who you know and trust to deliver. That's why you'll see, like, even with me, there's so many new photographers and videographers and makeup artists that I could definitely use to get the job done. But a lot of the times you'll find that I will travel all the way to Midrand for me to get my makeup done by a specific person, because I've been working with that person for X amount of years and I just trust them to know exactly what I want. My makeup artist and I are so locked in that I don't even tell her what to do on my face. I don't come with reference pictures and say, can you do my makeup like this? I want this one. I literally will come with a picture of my outfit. Sometimes I send it to her in advance. This is my outfit. Please do my hair and makeup. I don't know, dog. Just do something. Then she'll tell me, okay, bring this wig, because she knows all the wigs I have because I use the same consistent person. And then I bring the wig she said I must bring, and we are happy. We are good. I look good. I look nice. You understand? So guess what? If I have to go now and I'm given a TV show on, I don't know, Netflix, right? And Netflix says, okay, Barbara, we were going to book a makeup artist for you, but like, if there's someone else you prefer, let us know. I'm going to bring my homegirl because I know my homegirl understands the assignment and she's not going to embarrass me on Netflix. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, like when you realize how much people have to go through in order to produce a TV show. And I'm talking about the people who own the TV show, the people behind the scenes, what it takes to raise money, what it takes to get advertisers on board for your show, to buy into your idea. The last thing you need is someone who's going to be hired to be the presenter or, I don't know, the cameraman of the thing and fumble and like everything just doesn't land the way that you envisioned it would land. So yes, there's a lot more politics involved, and you know, it's nuance. But I still wouldn't trade it for anything because I do think that this is the almost perfect career path. What would make this the perfect career path is if I had gang money. You see the money people on Instagram think I have. If I had that money just to pay people and I can just show up, someone else must be behind this camera making sure that it's not overheating, because now it has overheat and I had to like pause halfway just so that it can stop overheating and I can carry on with this video. But if I can get to that point, it will be the most perfect job, because then all I have to worry about is expression. All I have to worry about is impact and making sure that I provide value when I speak on my podcast, that I provide value to my clients when I'm hosting an event, that now then it will be my perfect wedding. Ow! It's sensing. How do you differentiate between imposter syndrome and knowing that it's actually not meant to be? I think I've made this analogy before. I just don't know where, but I'm going to make it again. I used to run 1,500 meters when I was in high school, right? It's that one where you go to the rugby field and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5, depending on which school you're at and what the drama is around that field. And sometimes you get first place, sometimes you get third place, sometimes you don't place at all. And what I would ask myself at the end of every single race is a very simple question. Do you feel like you have given all the energy that you possibly could have given to these laps? Do you feel like you maximized yourself, or do you have half tank left for you in your body? And if I didn't use up everything in my body, I knew that that race was 100% on me. Me not placing or me place, even if I placed first place, I know I could have finished in a quicker time because I still have energy in my body to give. So I would always tell myself, if you are serious about this, you will give it everything you have. If you come at the end of the race and you still have energy in your body, you failed. I don't care what position you got, you failed. Sorry, where's my lip combo? It's low-key the same thing with imposter syndrome. What nerves sometimes, you know, let me leave this for a second, which is normal. It doesn't mean it's something that you have to let override you and stop you from reaching first place in your career, in your relationships, in whatever area of your life it is that you've got hectic imposter syndrome that like almost cripples you. Yeah, my makeup artist says I have blush blindness. Do you believe it or not? Wow, 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 wow. NYX, you did your big one with this one. Thanks for coming back, doll. If you didn't come back, I don't know where I would be. I would have very little blush on my face. I don't wanna lie. I would have humble blush. Blush about baba normal and then I get normal. Get up there. So thank you for taking me there. Is that enough, Barbara? Yeah, maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough. Maybe it's mainly. So what I've found is, if you are prepared, if you have proven to yourself time and time again that you are able to produce a particular result when you do these particular steps, then that helps erase imposter syndrome. I get imposter syndrome for events and shows that I have not fully prepared for. If I will always prepare for something, like I'll always prepare for a show, I'll always prepare for an event, and sometimes things happen. The client will give you the script the night before, or like, you know, crazy things happen sometimes hella okay, all the time, sometimes, and those are out of my control. But there are times where it is in your control and you've been given the script 2 weeks in advance. If you know that in 2 weeks I could have done this level of delivery, but because I only started preparing 3 days ago, this is the level of delivery I'm going to give. Do you know what this gap is between what my potential is and what I'm actually doing? That's imposter syndrome. So if you can close the gap between the potential, oh, that's good. Somebody write this down. If you can close the gap between your potential that is within your control, because everyone has got more potential than what they are able to do. Michael Jackson is dead now, but I know that guy. If he was on TikTok right now, oh, the potential was massive, right? But with the potential that Michael Jackson had, he did the absolute most. So yeah, ask yourself at the end of the day, did you do everything you could have done? If you haven't done everything you could have done, that's why you have imposter. You have your answer right there on E. Would you say God is purpose, reflecting to the big decisions that you took? One thing that I always used to say to God in my prayers when I was in engineering is, at the time I was discipling high school girls, I was discipling varsity girls as well. And so I had a lot of people to call and check up on, and some of them like needed more effort in terms of calling and checking up on them than the next person. And I remember like I would always go home at the end of every day and just be like, oh God, if you could just pay me to talk to people and like put me in a position where money is not a problem and all I can do is focus on talking to people, calling people, checking on people, I would be the happiest girl in the world. And I feel like having a podcast and doing things on my TikTok and my Instagram and Get Ready With Me is like this, where I'm answering your serious questions. For me, it feels like that. It feels like one of those things where it's like, okay, God is saying to me, here is Mbali, you know, Mbali needs to hear this word at this specific moment about maximizing your potential versus your, I don't know what it was that I said. And here's Maybelline, they're going to pay you 500 Rand to sit and like do a Get Ready With Me on TikTok. You can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. They just want you to feature the products and like be happy to be there for 500 Rand. 500 Rand is enough for me to buy groceries for 2 weeks. Do you understand? Not only do I feel like I'm living in purpose, which is dealing with people on a daily basis, but my needs are also being taken care of. I've got groceries for 2 weeks just because I took care of Mbali's question on TikTok. Shout out to God. While I wait for this to dry, let's do my eyes. I think if I'm being honest, what's keeping me motivated, ne? And I mean, like, obviously, when I look God, Jesus, people, all these different things. But if you're asking me personally, what's keeping me motivated every single day? What gets you up and going? Poverty. Ha! Poverty! And this low-key ties in with some of the big decisions that I took. Boma, moving out of home, that's one thing. Dropping out of engineering, all those silly decisions I made. And they are not silly. I believe in them. I still believe in those decisions to this day. But what you don't know about me, I think, and my mom's probably watching this YouTube video, maybe. When I was back home in the village this past week, my grandfather, not my grandmother, would say, Babi Utwana Linna, she literally is living the life that I used to live as a bus driver. But it didn't come from like a, oh, she's living the life I used to live as a bus driver. It came from like a pride thing. You could tell my grandfather was like very proud, like, yeah, I've raised a hard-working king. The king is me, by the way. I was sleeping with my grandparents the whole week I was there because my grandmother's a little bit obsessed with me, so she doesn't want me to leave her side. But what happened is every single morning without fail at 1:30 a.m. my body clock would wake me up. I would wake up ready to go shower and go to work. But I'm on holiday, so there is no work for me to do at 1:30 a.m. And my grandparents kind of watched me like wake up at 1:30. I would go to the other room, sit, watch TikToks, just find stuff to do. And then around 5 a.m. I would come back and go to sleep. But I'm telling you that story because I grew up watching my grandfather do the exact same thing as a kid. And as a kid, I also slept in my grandparents' bedroom. We used to put our mattresses on the floor and all sleep in the bedroom with my grandparents, just because we liked to sleep in the same room as my literally the house is like 11 bedrooms, and yet we still choose to sleep in the same room. It's ridiculous. But every single morning, without fail, at like 2 a.m., my grandfather would get up and go bath and get ready to go drive buses. And so I think a lot of people like see the work ethic that I have. At some point of my childhood, my mom worked in Germiston. So she would drive early in the morning to go to Germiston and go to work and then come back home late every evening because she's coming from Germiston in peak hour traffic. So seeing people work hard and work long hours and work crazy hours is something that I've always been used to. And I think work ethic is not something that's been new to me. It's normal. So there's no need for you to motivate me with a gun to my head to do things, because like I was raised in a family where on my mom's side and on my dad's side, people are just waking up and doing things. So if you are not doing things, you are the problem. Right? You are abnormal. You understand? Exactly. That's one. Two, my granddad did that whole thing, like driving buses, driving trucks, having a taxi business, going and like starting a tuck shop at some point, and all of that was done so that my mom could go to university, so that my grandmother could get her matric. He paid for so many people to get education, even though he doesn't necessarily have the same level of education. What did my mom then go on to do? Make sure that we have got education. So for me, it's just the thing of like, I've seen my grandfather, quote unquote, suffer, to make sure that we had everything my parents had everything they needed, and then my parents also suffered, because hard work is suffering. I'm not saying they suffered because they were poor or anything like that. I don't think my family was poor. We were middle class, we were fine. But like, they suffered to make sure that all three of us have equal opportunity, go to the school, go do all this mess of things. You want to do robotics, you need tuck shop money for the robotics, we give you. You need this, we give you. And it might be a painful sacrifice to them, but they did it because they want to see their children be something better than middle class. Not be in a situation where like you can't afford your university fees cash straight, but also NSFAS says you are too rich. Now what? They want to see us in Porsches. They want to see us in spaces where we're buying houses cash, we're buying cars cash, and we're not having to toil as hard as they did in order to do things, getting loans and hey. So for me, honestly, it's just things like that. Knowing that my parents worked hard to give me the opportunity to be an engineer. I said, no, I don't want to be an engineer. So now it's on me to make sure that that decision that I took to put aside the privilege of going to engineering school that was presented to me is a sacrifice that was worth it. It's the big show. We're almost done. Can I tell you something funny? A glass of Jason in my hands. Dude, I don't know why every time I do my makeup, my nose just starts like behave. I don't think I'm at the top of my game. There's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube, there's podcast, there's MC, there's radio, there's all these different things that I need to do. Voiceover now, like I did a voiceover ad for MTN. That's crazy. If you listen to Metro, you probably heard my voice throughout December. But like, it doesn't matter what I do or how many times I do it, I still feel like there's so much room for improvement. And I think the biggest thing I could probably tell you from what my bosses have said to me is their favorite thing about me, or like when people talk about me. Yes, they always say, oh, work ethic or whatever, but I think being open to making mistakes is probably how I stay on the top of my game, because it's in one of these gifts that have been bestowed upon me. The Sky High Mascara. I used the purple one. Maybe I should use the purple one. Fine. I wasted my time looking for it. Let me use the purple one. This one is actually purple mascara. The color is Plum Twilight. It doesn't really show on your under eye, but like if you looked into my eyes, you would see that my eyelashes are dark purple, which is so cool. But I think remaining teachable has always been like the biggest thing. And in one of my meetings with my manager at YFM, she was like, one day you're gonna be a big shot, and then I'm gonna be giving you advice, and you're gonna be telling me you know everything already. You don't need to hear anything from me. I'm gonna remind you that you were begging me for feedback in the beginning. But like genuinely, my biggest prayer is that I will always stay teachable. After an emceeing event, if I thought the client was cool, I'll ask them, like, can you give me advice? What do you think I could have done better? Of course, if I feel like they're a safe person to ask that question. I think in my personal life though, I would say there are aspects of my life where I am at the top of my game, but there are other aspects of my life where I definitely am not on the top of my game, and friendship is one of those aspects. And I'll tell you more about it because someone else asked me a question about friendship. I mean, I might as well answer it. The whole thing around friendship tips or whatever. There's literally one step left in my makeup, and that is my lip gloss, and then we're done. So let me do the lip gloss and then get up a setting spray and sit down and answer the last 5 questions just straight to camera. Let's make that deal. Yeah. Welcome back. I came back like I promised. So that's the thing about social media, is because you're not seeing the behind the scenes vlogs, because you're not seeing my manager sending emails or like the negotiation process behind every single gig that you see me getting, it looks like everything is happening so easily. But trust me, nothing is easy, especially in this industry. But I think the biggest thing I can say, and I keep saying this on TikTok and Instagram, and I think I should do a separate video about the radio industry as a whole, the little that I know anyway, is that the easiest way for you to break into the radio industry, especially as a shy person, is one, start with a podcast. The same thing that I did. Start with a podcast, because my podcast came at a time where I relaunched and rebranded my podcast from That's Funny, Real Ones, remember, to what is it called now? I even forgot the name of my podcast. Boldly Becoming, when I was in a moment or era in my life where I had felt like I don't want to speak anymore. I went through something that just made me feel like I lost my voice, I lost my power, Amanda. And I needed a safe way to kind of build that confidence in speaking back up. And a podcast is one of those things that you can do. You don't have to do it with a microphone. You don't have to do it in front of a camera, in front of an audience. You could literally sit in your bedroom with your phone, the voice memo app on your phone, open it up and just be like, this is my podcast, 1, 2, 3. And like, you know, that's your podcast done and dusted. And once you feel like you have gotten that muscle in, transition to campus or community radio. Go to Impact Radio if you're a Christian in Pretoria and ask them for a shot at being at the radio station. Read their traffic. You don't even have to be a presenter. Start off in traffic and then work your way up to being a presenter there, if that's how you get in, you know. There's Tshwane FM, Peli FM, Tax FM, where I come from, and many other campus radio stations where you literally can go there and you're not going to get paid probably. If you do, you'll get paid very little. But the whole point of those platforms is to give someone the opportunity to be able to build the skill of radio. That's what they offer you, a platform to learn the skill. And once you're there, you'll see there are people who are set in place. You've got a programs manager, you've got a station manager, all these different people and kind of systems that are put in place where at the end of the month, you have to sit down and they replay your radio show and make you listen to the things you said and tell you how to improve so you become a better version of yourself as an on-air personality. So that is the advice I would give you. I will tell you, getting jobs is not easy. The only reason it looks like I'm getting jobs easily now is because I put in the work 5 years ago and I started building my social media platform. That it made me a valuable person, and because I'm a valuable person who's also good at their job or trying their best to be as good as they possibly can at their job, it's easy to say give the job to that girl, because You see me when you're driving on the M1, there's a billboard of me there. You see me when you open your TikTok because I'm probably doing like a get ready with me with Nivea. You see me when you open your Instagram and my DSTV Delicious video is trending. It's got 1 million views, organic views. Like, that's crazy. My Maybelline videos on TikTok have got 5 million views. Like, that's crazy. So I might not have 5 million followers, and that's why maybe it seems like for someone with such little followers, you've got an easy access to jobs, but it's not easy. I've built relationships. I have worked hard, and I mean, if you go back long enough on my archive of stuff, you'll see that it was a journey. What did you do this year that you are proud of, big or small? I feel like this can be a video on its own. Things I did in 2023. What year are we in? 5 that I'm proud of. But I think the biggest one that I can share with you is this year I chose myself. Yeah, I chose myself. If there's one year where I chose myself, it was this year. I chose myself in the sense that I walked away from situations that didn't serve me. I stood up in situations where I felt like I was being taken advantage of, and I spoke up. Like, I chose myself always. One thing I've seen in my 25 years of living is that people are always going to choose themselves. People are going to do what benefits them. People will throw you under the bus at their earliest convenience. All you have is you and Jesus. But I'm not the one. Sorry to you. And I think the saddest thing is finding yourself in a position like that after you raised a concern or after you spoke up for yourself. Whether it be in a friendship, a relationship, whatever. Telling your friend, Chomi, actually when you make jokes about my fupa, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like that. After everything I've done for you as a friend, how? Then go, okay, son, go find friends that want you to make fun of their fupa, but I'm not the one. You understand? No making fun of my fupa in this regime. It seems like a small thing, but it's a very big thing because it affects a lot of things. When you say no to opportunities, you're saying no to money, essentially. When you say no to friendships, you're saying no to the potential life that you could have shared with that person. I think I've said a lot. I think I've said enough. I think you get the point. This one is a big one for me, and I almost didn't answer this question. I don't want to lie, because I got to a point where I was just like, I don't want to answer questions about Jesus Christ, we love you, God, on social media. I think for me, I just found like, you know what? I'm actually better off just letting people see Jesus through me than trying to open my mouth and tell you Jesus 1, 2, 3. Because what I've realized is when you're someone who goes on the internet, tells people about your relationship with God, or you tell people, oh, this is what God is saying to me today. And I'm not saying I'll never do those things. You'll probably see me do stuff like that from time to time because I'm a Christian. I can't hide it. I don't know how to say this nicely. And I'm hoping no one is going to screen record this and take it out of context. I can just talk to you like my friend because you are my friend. But like, Christian influencers are not your God. They're fabulous at like sharing the word and sharing their notes from church and stuff like that. It's a cool thing. I recently found out someone else was saying like, someone else had commented on Karabo Didi's posts. Thank you for always sharing your notes from church. We even go to the same, different branches, but the same church, and I didn't even know we go to the same church. But like, this lady posts her notes from church every single week. I didn't know that about her, and I think that's very cool. And from what I could see, she has the gift of taking notes, because when I take notes in church, I can't put that together. How she does that is insane. It's above me. Right? You get Google Lesunyantumba, who will sit on a podcast, or Mpumile Dwaba, who will sit down and articulate thoughts about God in a way that when you hear them, you're just like, wow, I didn't know my God was that kind of warrior, but now you've opened a new channel in my brain. And I know for me, I think there was an element of like, wow, God is so relatable when I hear him through you, and that's all great and dandy. But what I've also found is like, then what happens is you don't take notes on Sunday. Now, because I know Karabotidi is in my church and she's going to take good notes, powerful notes, I'm not going to take notes. This is an example. I'm not saying I'm not going to take notes. I'm not going to take notes. I know Karabo's going to post an Instagram story giving me notes from church, and this, I forgot to put setting spray. I just remembered. And I'm not saying that's what everyone will do, but what I'm saying is there are people who are going to do that. Do you understand? And now it means when I come from church on Sunday and Karabo didn't post notes that Sunday, I'm going to go in her DMs and say, Karabo, where's the word of the day? Where are the notes? How dare you? How dare you, Karabo? How dare you? And now I've almost grown this sense of entitlement to Karabo's notes when like homegirl was just posting the notes out of the love of God in her heart, not because it's her duty. Do you understand? And I think for me, what I found is, and it's natural, people will take what you do and almost put it on a pedestal. And now instead of you going and asking God if you should drop out of medicine or not, or if you should, leave Pretoria and move to Johannesburg, if you should change schools and go to a completely different city that's going to require you to drive 2 hours every morning and every evening like I did, you want me to answer that question for you. You want an influencer to answer that question for you because you know that that particular influencer has time and time again made big decisions that seemed crazy on the outside, but at the end everyone could see the results and say, wow, look at God. So one, I will say that's why a big part of me is just like, I don't want to do the whole like Jesus in front of the people thing, because now my relationship with God becomes performative and like I don't like that for me and Jesus. He was here before you and he needs to stay in my life. So that's one. Two, I think that acting on some of the things that God places in your heart will force you to be a Christian. You understand? And I need you to hear me when I said this. Like, push you to be a Christian in the sense that when I was leaving engineering, the biggest thing I always said was like, God, my prayer, I don't wanna go into entertainment because I don't want a situation where my entire career is pending on whether people watch my videos or not, comment on my ads or not, like and share my ads or not. I don't want my ads and people liking me to be linked to my entire livelihood. As in, if you don't like my video, I can't pay my rent. That's crazy. Do you understand? That's insane. And I think that's why I'll do a million jobs on the side, like radio, all these different things. But even radio on its own could never pay me enough for me, like, everything that I have in my life right now. Like, it literally comes from God. And so one example I'll give you, and this is also something that I'm low-key proud of myself for, is today, well not today, but this month marks the anniversary of me moving out of my parents' house. And I remember when we were looking for places for me to stay, my mom was like, yo dog, you need to go live at Live Easy. At Live Easy, the rent is 4,000 rand. There's no stove in the kitchen, but you have a one bedroom and it's a nice enough location for you to be able to get to work easily without spending too much money. Like, you know that come hell or high water, if you are not able to pay rent because people on YouTube didn't watch your ads or people on TikTok didn't share your videos, your mom can help you with 4,000 rand. If everything goes wrong, at least your mom can give you 4,000 so you can pay your rent. You understand? It's medium enough for your mom to sacrifice, I don't know, petrol and take a taxi for the whole month, or to not eat so that you can have somewhere to sleep that month. Do you understand? And I remember someone in my close friends was like, no dog, you need to live in a one, like, go live where you want to live. And all my friends were like, nah dog, how many times has God done this thing? You didn't know how you're gonna pay school fees, yet you paid it. You didn't know, now you made it to the other side. And I was like, snap, I'm gonna take the leap. And I took the leap and I got the apartment that I felt like was way out of my depth. Even though it was a studio apartment, I was like, yo, this is wild. You've seen my apartment tour, it's on YouTube, of my first apartment. But then after that, a few months later, I moved into a bigger apartment because I realized, oh, actually, it's not that bad. And God's kind of got me. He's kind of opened up opportunities for me to be able to know that I will be able to pay this rent for the next 12 months. And so I think in many ways, acting on the things that God has put on my heart and jumping into entrepreneurship, even though it low-key was against my will, are things that force you to live in faith constantly, because I have to trust that God is going to put me on a brand manager's heart next month so that my rent is going to be paid. God is going to put me on a events coordinator's mind so that I can go host the event for 3 days in a row. And if I host the event for 3 days in a row, it's going to cover my rent for 2 months. You know, like, things like that are insane. But I also think getting to a point where you are living on the edge and trusting God while living on the edge starts with trusting God with the small things. And when I was in that era of my life where literally I had nothing as a person, I'm not talking about my family, I'm talking about me as Barbara. I had nothing. Like, my bank account was looking crazy, everything was looking crazy in my life. And still in those tough seasons, tithing and trusting God throughout all of it. It's easy for God to trust me now because 10% of everything that comes into my business, not into my account as a person, 10% of everything that comes into my business account, as in all the money that has ever touched my business account, 10% of it goes back into tithe. And that's simply because I believe that I couldn't have without God. And I feel like, anyway, I'm rambling. I don't want to ramble. Only a relationship with God can put you in that position where you are able to trust God in your down seasons and in your comfortable seasons, because you know what God brought you through and you know what He still has to bring you through even right now. So shout out God, love you down. I keep looking at the screen because I'm trying to see that it's not overheating. Anyway, but seeing up. Oh, I don't wanna lie. Living in Joburg, yeah, like this is where I belong. Even they say Jesus Christ of Nazareth couldn't do miracles in his hometown. Yeah, I couldn't do miracles in my hometown, but this place, this is my home. I love it. There's nothing I can say. I literally have no complaints about living in Joburg, except for the apartment building that I'm in that keeps on, like, you know, having problems. Today they had guys come in and fix the shower in my temporary apartment, because the shower in my temporary apartment apparently was leaking onto the 3rd and the 4th floor and the 5th. But in terms of actual Joburg, I found it to be amazing, and even more than that, I found it to be a booster of faith. I think I trust God for so much more now, because you get here and you realize how people have been living. Like, people in Sandton live like this. People in Sandton, guys, you'll see Porsches. There's just Porsches. Like, every second car is a Porsche and a Benz. And I'm like, how? If so many people can have Porsches and Benzes, why can't I have a Porsche and a Benz? I don't want a VW anymore. Give me a Porsche. Give me a Benz. And those are material things, sure. But if you go onto my broadcast channel on Instagram, it's called the Superstar Level. There's a point where I had shared something about making your environment first class. There's a book that I would recommend for you to go read, and it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. I think it's written by a Christian, because every now and then he references God. But one of the chapters in The Magic of Thinking Big is about going into first class environments, because it expands your mind. And literally, if they give me the opportunity to book my own flight, I will pay business class for that flight, because there's nothing like being in a lounge in an airport and getting to hang out with those people, and then being in a plane and being comfortable and like just having your nerves down. It just makes your life so much better. Same thing, like if I'm gonna go host an event, or if I'm gonna go host a show, whatever the case may be, like if I'm going somewhere important and I need to be the best version of myself at that place, I'll take an Uber Black. I will take an Uber Black. Not because I have money for Uber Black, but because the Uber Black just puts me in that zone, man, where I'm just like, yeah, I am that girl, and I'm comfortable, and this is nice, and I'm safe, and I get there and I can be the best version of myself. And it's only when I got to Joburg that I started thinking like that, because I've seen how being in different environments just unlocks a different level of thinking and energy and vitality that allows you to do so much more. And shout out, man. Shout out. And I mean, to be fair, I do be saving money on food, because I drink smoothies a lot. But that's because I'm lazy to chew and cook and wash dishes. I'd rather drink a smoothie than cook, please. Before I get allegations about my health statuses. This video is so long. Are we talking for this long? 10 lessons from 2025. I can do bad all by myself. I'm joking. That is not the top 10 lesson of 2025. Top 10 lesson of 2025 is like, walk away, bro. Walk away. Now everyone in the other apartment building knows that I make content. They're watching me. Oh, kill me now. This guy came out yesterday. He's always walking around shirtless. And like, okay, anyway, I'm getting distracted. But now he's sitting on his balcony watching me record this video, and now it's awkward. I'm getting shy and stuff. Okay, I'm confident, powerful. I am that girl. Top 10 lessons from 2025. I think I won't do all 10 for the sake of time in this video. Let's do a separate video where I talk about the top 10 lessons from 2025. But what I will say, honey, is that don't be scared to let go of it. The Bible says it like this: release yourself from every way you are. I think it's Hebrews chapter 12. Now that you are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, and read my Bible, I'm paraphrasing, surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, make sure that you run the race to win. And in order for you to run the race to win, you need to let go of every sin that so easily ensnares you, every weight that weighs you down. Put it down. Whether that weight is a job, with a plan. With a plan. Every job I've left with a plan. I just want to put that out there. Thank you. Thank you. Whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whatever the case may be, let that thing go. Because the moment that you feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you are being taken advantage of, and you let that thing go, you'll realize how that thing was blocking the space for something even better, something you actually wanted. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I talk so much, and like I'm such a free bird. I just say stuff all the time, and sometimes things just should not be said. So I'm gonna park it right here so I can maintain my dignity. But this is great. This is awesome. We should do this more often. Why aren't we doing this all the time? It's me. I'm the jump. Sorry. Before you go, I have to show you this. I got a package from maybe it's Maybelline, and they attached this card to it. It's just so cute. I almost cried and stuff when I read it. They said, "Dear Barbara, the Maybelline team just wanted to send you a little note to say how much we appreciate you, your kindness, your gentle energy, and steady presence." It's such a beautiful message. Like, it's so long. I'm not going to read all of it because I suspect that they wrote this only for my eyes and my ears. But they are so awesome and sexy and loving, and like I literally never run out of makeup because they always send me my favorites. Literally, it'll be like they'll send me a DM like, "Hey girl, what's missing in your makeup kit right now? What's running low?" And I'm like, "The blush is running low." And then they say, "Oh, but you didn't mention foundation. What's your foundation shade?" And then they send me like new foundation to try, which is this one, the one that I put on today, this vitamin C one. I've never used this one before. I've used the old version of it, but I've never used the new version of it. And look at the result. Even these contour sticks that I used and now am obsessed with. Love them down. And nothing is a greater privilege than being loved by the people that you love. That is my top 10 lesson of 2025. Nothing is a greater privilege than being loved by the people that you love. So go where you are loved. Do you understand what I'm saying? Exactly. I genuinely love Maybelline. The fact that they love me back, case closed. Another makeup brand calls me. I say, "No, please, I don't want," because I'm not interested. Like, same thing with Nivea. I've had so many requests at the beginning of this year to do skincare campaigns, and this sexy, by the way, that is a sexy offer what you are giving me. It's easy for me to say no, I don't want. When the petroleum jelly brand says, "Hey," because they came earlier this year, I think twice, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, we've got this. Just do our lip stuff then if you don't want to do the body stuff." And I'm like, "No, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to do your lip stuff. I don't want to do your body stuff. I don't want to do anything because I love it here. And the people I genuinely love me too. And I'm not gonna go cheat on my husband." Not cheat on my husband. So yeah, and the same thing goes for friendships. I've had people who were my friends and like, I mean, great, they are good people. There's nothing wrong with them, but I think the level of love I had for them was not the level of love they had for me, and that's okay. It just means I'm not as high on the position of your life that I thought I was, and that's fine. From the bottom of my heart, there's nothing wrong with that. But that just means that I need to go find people who are going to value me as much as I value them. And the same thing goes for romantic relationships, the same thing goes for jobs, the same thing goes for everything. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this video. Mwah!